beautiful creative soul, and welcome back to another episode of Chakra-Care for the creative soul. This is episode 21, and it's all about the divine declarations, sacred self-care vows that have downloaded through me. And I feel like this is the perfect time to share them with all of you. They downloaded through me about a year ago, actually, and I don't know why. I've been feeling the need to kind of keep them with me, and now I'm just getting the green light to share them. And I'm so happy that you're here, and I'm going to be also unpacking a little bit about why Spirit has guided me to share them with you at this time. And so, welcome again, like I said, to Chakra-Care for the creative soul. This is a show dedicated to helping you to nourish and care for yourself as much as you care for the world while you're birthing your dreams into a beautiful reality. Hello, I'll be your host today, and my name is Pollyanna Blanco, and I'm a quantum energy healer. I'm a light worker. I'm a Chakradance facilitator. I am an intuitive guide and a creative midwife, and also an author of 2 books. And it is an honor and a blessing to be here with you today and to share what has downloaded through me to serve you. So this has been an exciting week. I don't know how it's been for you, and I would love to hear a comment below about what you've been experiencing. We've had some very peak up-level moments recently following the new moon, the pink moon. And this week on the 15th, just yesterday, because I'm pre-recording this, I just really said yes to my expansion. And thanks to the 2 beautiful teachers I've been following now for 20 years in the embodied expression of the Master Lady Kira Ra, Sri Ramka, Kira Ra embodiment is how I want to express it. They just have been sharing an incredible experience about the codes. And I invite you to check out shriandkira.com if that's something that you are sensing that there's a shift in the air and you'd like more guidance and illumination about that. They still have 3 more experiences coming up next Tuesday and then 2 in June. And I can't say enough good things about it. It was definitely an incredible experience of upliftment. And I think that's also why I feel divinely guided to share with all of you what has downloaded through. And so I'm just going to take my watch off right now because it's bumping against the desk. And also I feel like I kind of want to be outside of time. I don't want to have any time mechanisms on my being, even though the watch I have is a solar powered watch. We really are, as they've been sharing, in this magnificent time out of time experience. April, May, and June, this 3-month window is really an opportunity that's inviting us on a soul level, guided by Spirit, to really keep our eyes on the divine at all times and to be able to really cultivate what I like to call as a very profound sacred self-care practice, this capacity to notice what we're noticing. And I'm just noticing the time here so that I can sort of keep this within about a 30-minute window. And at the same time, I'm just going to put it out to Spirit and trust that setting that intention, it will fulfill itself naturally. Because I just came home from having a very fascinating conversation with someone I'd never met before in a coffee shop. And I was just, stopping after work to take a moment to just be with my thoughts and connect with, inspiration for this next show. And the universe, offered me that in a really tangible way. There was this wonderful woman who just very spontaneously reached out to me and expressed to me that she was, and I won't go into any personal details here out of respect for her privacy, but I will say in broad brushstrokes that she was experiencing a bit of a communication, or more accurately, a miscommunication electronically with someone that left her disappointed and left her feeling misunderstood. And so, as she very generously leaned into trusting me and trusting the moment, and I trusted that I was divinely placed there to serve her in a way that was just being revealed to me moment by moment. What really came forward as we continued to be in that moment together, and I heard her side of the story, and I heard, some of the thoughts and emotions that were coming up for her as a result of this miscommunication electronically, I felt it was really time to dive deeper into the divine declarations, the sacred self-care vows that started to channel through me last summer when I was traveling in August. And just to offer a little bit of a back story to it, at the time I was revisiting my own self-care because there was an experience in particular that was bubbling up to the surface of my awareness, where I felt sort of impacted by subtle energies that had a profound impact. I can feel my throat chakra getting a little sticky here as I say that. And I started, what it prompted me to do was to start to revisit spiritual hygiene. Like, how am I caring for my energy? How am I discerning which is my energy and which is someone else's? And how am I also noticing what thoughts and emotions and even meaning I'm making out of this experience, so that I can travel forward through it with more clarity and without it siphoning my energy, without giving my power away to something and it feeding me into that downward spiral of feeling on some level, through some aspect of me, kind of victimized on some level. That's sounds like a heavy word to use because I don't really identify with that anymore. But one of the things I've been starting to discover in my own journey, and also from listening to other people, is that we all, regardless of where we are on our inner awakening journey, have this aspect of self, which is our personality self or our ego mind, that can be very slippery and can be very sly and very sophisticated. And so, as much as we are expanding our awareness beyond just the personality level, there's a residue sometimes that can get a little sticky or a little Velcro-y and can attempt to sometimes in certain moments pull us into, and I've got a little bit of a reflection here. The sun is shining, by the way, into my room so brightly. It's a beautiful day outside. So there we go. Try to move out of that little spotlight just for a second as I'm sharing this. So without going off on too much of a tangent, what really bubbled up for me at that point in time was, really, like I said, the discerning which energy was mine and someone else's, what message and meaning and thoughts and emotions were kind of being a little triggered by it. And then, any residues of fear from my ego mind and, even a lack of safety. And it was a great opportunity to revisit what I always seem to talk about by choice, which is the sacred self-care, like restoring the sacred to your self-care. And through that, through connecting and reflecting and going within and opening to spirit to guide me, that's when the divine declarations, the sacred self-care vows started coming through. And I'm going to share them with you today on our show. So stay tuned for that very shortly. And then as we move forward with upcoming shows, I'm going to dive into each one a little bit more deeply, to unpack it as well. Today is just going to be like an introduction. That's what I feel called by Spirit to share. Because right now, at this moment on Earth, I genuinely, in my heart of hearts, feel very called more than ever to really, when we speak of self-care, to take it to a whole new level of awareness. And there's so much out there on the internet right now about self-care and so many different definitions of it and experiences of it. And I invite you to find your own, the one that feels right for you today, and, in other shows, and with everything that has called me forward to serve in this realm of self-care. For me, it's been an evolution and an emergence process through my own journey of asking myself what really serves me, not just on that ego personality level to feel better, to feel happy in the moment, but what offers me that deeper sense of meaning and purpose and, reason for being here. And it's recognizing not just the self-worth, which is more of the personality level, but it's really, really diving into that divine worth, that divine worthiness. And we all are divinely worthy. And, sometimes it can be so easy to lose sight of our divine worthiness, um, because when the thoughts and emotions start to pull us, you know, into uh, those areas where there's some stickiness, we can lose that equilibrium. We can lose that sense of balance, that sense of presence, because we can get caught up in the thoughts, the emotions, the aches and pains in our body, the meaning and the beliefs, and lose sight of our divine worth. So these divine declarations, when they started coming through me, were just a reminder that there is this dimension to our self care that is sacred. It's a remembrance, an allowing, an invitation to acknowledge that we are so much more than who we think we are. And, there are so many activities we can do to practice self care. And, you know, I'm sure you have many that work for you too. And it's not, when I talk about restoring the sacred to your self care, what's near and dear to my heart and what's been an important part of what's been emerging through my own journey that I really feel guided to share with you today is that it's not only about the activity. Sometimes we can get so focused on what are you doing to care for yourself. It's more about the presence in that moment. The activity is secondary. So say you really like to do your nails. It's not for me to say that it's, sacred or not. What makes it sacred is how you show up for yourself, the presence and awareness you bring to that activity of caring for your body, of, connecting to beauty, of connecting to, you know, nurturing and listening to yourself, listening to all those different aspects of yourself, as opposed to using it as a distraction. And, the same thing, a walk in nature, sometimes people are like, well, a walk in nature, that's a little more deep than perhaps getting a mani or a pedi. Is it? Maybe it is, and maybe it isn't. Again, it's not the activity itself, it's the presence that we bring to it, right? It's the, you know, are we noticing without judgment, perhaps, that our mind is recycling and perseverating on certain, thoughts and emotions over and over again and just having a hard time letting it go? And are we cultivating compassion and patience with ourselves? Or are we going into dropping into judgment and into criticism? Or are we looking for distraction? Are we looking for something to numb that unpleasant feeling that is sticky and is not going away? Or are we trying to push it away because we see it as not spiritual or not uplifted, and we're kind of disowning it? So the restoring the sacred to our self-care is about the awareness more than the activity itself. And so this is where these divine declarations are gentle and yet powerful reminders to connect with the energetic centers in our body that are the source of communication between the sort of 3D material realm and our physicality, our existence, the sort of the jumpsuit, the human jumpsuit that we are, to a larger or lesser degree, depending on where we are in our awakening, identified with to some degree, this body of form, which, while we have one and we want to, anchor this awareness into it, the degree to which we identify with it as being who we really are can either, compound our, you know, um, places where we get stuck, or it can liberate us, right? And so these divine declarations are really, we have within and interplaying between the body of form and the fields of energy that are being broadcast beyond the body of form, these energetic centers, which many traditions have called chakras, or the Mayans have called chaklas, and in other traditions they call them other things. So generally speaking, these energetics, centers, I like to call them chakras, and there's 7 major in-body ones, and then of course there are many more than that. So with these divine declarations, they are reminders to tune into these energetic centers and to honor them as sources of creative abundance, as ways that we can receive powerful messages, teachings, learnings, wisdom, so that we can move through whatever self-care practices we choose and feel guided to do, to, relax into this body of form, to celebrate this now moment, to enjoy, the gift of this earthly experience, and to really nourish our body, mind, heart, spirit, and soul with that presence. Okay, so I'm so excited to share these with you, and I'm going to jump into a share screen right now and bring this up. So I'm just going to take a moment to do that, and there we go. Just going to expand that. Okay, so here are the divine declarations, the sacred self-care vows, and I'm going to pop my glasses on too, because it's just going to be a little easier. So the very first one is, I am supported. I start my morning with a daily practice that helps me to ground and sustain a loving connection with my divine presence, promoting inner and outer peace as I move through my day. This is really key, and it's the root chakra, the chakra that is really an opening for us to feel not only safe, not only supported, not only with the right to be here, it's an energetic center where we can begin to really anchor peace, not just in a moment where we're meditating, but as we move throughout the day. And so I've been finding in my own journey how I start my day and how I end my day. It's kind of like bookends. That really makes a huge difference in my life in terms of really being able to kind of create a container, a supportive container. And at the same time, what I love about that declaration, that vow, that promise to myself, I am supported, is it reassures my body of form. It reassures me that I am paying attention to myself, and that, and at the heart of that is presence. I am supported because the I am is the witness, that capacity to notice what I'm noticing. And that is the, I'm online with the divine. It's the I am in me, the I am presence in me that is supporting me, that has my back, that is promising I will love myself and show up for myself. And I'm inviting you to, offer yourself, hands on heart, the same gift of I am supported. So I'm going to invite you to repeat after me in this now moment, hands on heart, deep breath in and out, Ave Sal breath in. I am supported. As we move up to the next energetic center, just around your belly button, your sacral chakra, we move into the sacred self-care vow of this center, which is I am nourished. It says, I lovingly care for my body and partner with it through movement, healthy food, water, rest, sensuality, and fresh air, so I may receive and honor its wisdom. I am a sacred container of creative energy. I am my own midwife, and I nurture my dreams. This is our creative center. This is where, and there's so much I can say about each of these. Today is just like I was going to share with you a general introduction. The I am nourished is that when I say this to myself, it reminds me that I'm in relationship to all aspects of myself. I'm in relationship to, how I care for myself, how I feed my energy system. And the greatest way I can feed my energy system is by pouring love into all that I do. We all know what it feels like to eat a meal that's been cooked with love. When we, provide ourselves with everything from a place of love rather than from a place of being hurried, rushed, feeling put upon or burdened, or, if you catch yourself saying, I have to, then that doesn't really feel nourishing. So this is why it's a powerful declaration to say, I am nourished. I am nourished by this glass of water. I am nourished by this walk in nature. I am nourished by this nap or this this bed that I'm lying in. I'm nourished by this air that I'm breathing in. It's an activation, a reminder that this choice to be present with these, caring practices is nourishing my body, mind, heart, spirit, and soul. So I'm going to invite you to place your hands on your heart and to say this after words. We're going to do an Ave Sa breath. And again, the Ave Sa breath is from my beloved teachers, Sri Ramka Kira Ra. And it is a beautiful way to, again, anchor these divine declarations. So, Ave Sa, I am nourished. And then moving up to the solar plexus chakra, we have the divine declaration, I am enough. It says, joy is my GPS. I value my sacred soul gifts, speaking words of affirmation and encouragement. I believe in myself. I am worthy because I am. I have so much to give, and I am divinely empowered through my gifts of service. Again, this divine declaration is the choice to focus on the wholeness. It's the choice to really trust that who I am on a soul level is enough. Even if this moment is out picturing in a way that I would have preferred it not to, or expected it would look different, in this now moment, I'm enough for whatever is showing up in my life. I am enough as I am, and I'm worthy just because I am. I'm here now. And as we acknowledge that we're exactly where we need to be in this now moment, the gifts of service are the presence. It's that knowing that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and it's the embrace of that. It's the acceptance of that. It's the trust in that, right? And because this is such an important aspect of sacred self-care, is recognizing that who we are, everything that's led up to this now moment that we're finding ourselves in, is perfect. It's preparing us. It's prepared us up until this moment. And in this moment, we're being prepared for what's to come next. And so the first three energy centers, the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus chakra, the I am supported, I am nourished, I'm enough, are really important, because it's the need for, feeling that we can not only survive, but we can thrive, that our needs are met. And when we declare these things to ourselves, then we are really magnetic to them being present to us, because we acknowledge that they already exist. We acknowledge that they are already here. And it's so easy when we're in a hurry and we're rushing around to miss all the blessings and all the abundance that is in front of us. And this is the key, is to start from what we do have and to expand it outward through divinely declaring it. Then we move up into our heart chakra. And actually, before we do that, we're going to take a moment and I'm going to invite you to place your hands on your heart again and invite you into an Ave Sa breath with me. And then we're going to declare, I am enough. So breathing in, Ave Sa, I am enough. And just really feeling that, because for a lot of us, I know in my own journey, that is a sticky place. There's always something more we can do. There's always something more we can be. I am enough is a powerful declaration that acknowledges, in this now moment, I am enough, just as I am. And so you are too, right? Because the beauty of these declarations is that if I am supported, you are supported. If I am nourished, you are nourished. If I am enough, you are enough. And it starts to shift how we experience and make meaning out of the world as we move through our day. And then bring your awareness up to our heart chakra in the center of our chest, the affirmation, I am loved. And as it says here, I am my own best friend. I show up for myself with loving presence, honesty, compassion, warmth, sincerity, kindness, and release judgment. I am here to love and be loved. I forgive myself and others for any foibles and choose to claim the soul lessons from my experiences, remembering the love that I am. Breathing that in. I am loved. Just simply declaring that to yourself. Just simply declaring that to yourself. Feel that recognition. How often on a subconscious level do we seek that out in a myriad of ways, in the form of validation from others? How often do we lead from our wounds? And those wounds seek that validation from others, either through partners in pain or through someone validating our feelings for us, through, others saying, I hear you. And I get it. We are interconnected. We are in relationship to all beings on this planet. And while we so need each other, it starts with ourselves. When we can really anchor into that declaration, I am loved, and really feel it and know it and and nourish it by affirming it on a regular basis. It's the presence in this moment as you share that with yourself. I am loved right here, right now. I am loved. I am loved. I already have it. There's nothing lacking. There's nothing I need to get out there. I am loved. And if I am loved, you are loved too, because you are another me in the Catch Alakeen. So, or namaste, right? So I'm going to invite you, again, hands on heart if it's safe to do so, to begin to breathe in Ave. I am loved. And then bringing your awareness up to your throat chakra. I am seen and heard. As it shares here, I lovingly check in with myself throughout the day and notice how I'm doing so I can take aligned choices that honor my value, authenticity, integrity, and truth. I am genuine. So, something I feel guided to share here is one of the ways we can lose energy. And this is something I've experienced in my own, journey, and I've witnessed it in other people who are struggling with this, is the patterns we can get hooked into for that, validation and recognition in terms of being understood or being listened to. And what I learned from my own journey too, because I often would be a very soft speaker, and that habit started in my childhood where I would speak so quietly and people would always be saying to me, speak up, I can't hear you. And or cutting me off and interrupting me. And I was like, okay, this is like the wash, rinse, repeat cycle in my own life. What in me invited this to be? On a soul level, what is my soul wanting me to learn through these experiences? And what it was wanting me to learn is that I am seen and heard. That presence, that divine presence, that divine mastery presence in me is seen and heard. And what was happening was the opposite. I was pinching off access to that divine mastery presence and buying into the belief that I wasn't good enough. And, if you think about the throat, it's really that, we often talk about the heart chakra as the bridge between the lower chakras and the upper chakras, or, the more human chakras and the more so-called spiritual chakras, although it's all spiritual. The throat is also a bridge of sorts, because sound is a vibration. And when we can speak the presence into formed expression, then or informed expression, as Sri Ramkha Master Curate Rao would say, then what we actually have is like this this incredible capacity to see and hear ourselves, not the self that is the small self that is limited in perception of who we truly are, but the expanded self, the self that has been knocking at our doors for such a very long time, wanting to be seen and heard, right? And so this is the beauty of this declaration. It's not I am from the small self, it's I am from the expanded self, seen and heard. And this is where, as a sacred self care practice, and this is something I had to learn in my own journey, is taking that time to literally do little check in moments with myself. It didn't have to be those big moments where I was sitting on the meditation cushion for 30 minutes or an hour. It was little moments throughout the day where I place my hands on my heart and just say, what in me invited this to be? How are you doing? Noticing my thoughts, noticing my emotions, noticing what was going on in my body, just taking a pause, taking a moment, getting centered, connecting to my breath, 3 minutes or less, 30 seconds or less, and doing that consistently and regularly. That is the I am seen and heard. So placing your hands on your heart, I invite you to join me in another Ave Sa breath as we breathe in Ave. Sa. I am seen and heard. And then breathing your awareness up to I am trusted. This is right in your third eye chakra. And as it says here, I allow myself to see beyond the surface appearance of things, recognizing that the divine is guiding me in every moment for my greatest growth. As I open to trusting my intuition, I can see that I am loved beyond measure and I'm never alone. My clear sight is my insight. One of the most powerful lessons I think for all of us along the way is really trusting that inner sight. And well, I realized that when I say inner sight, I mean our intuition. Some people experience it as sight, others experience it as hearing, as feeling, as knowing, or a combination, or even smell. It's really, everyone is a little different that way. But the trust is trusting that sixth sense beyond the surface appearance of the physical reality that's already outpictured as a result of, where we were a moment or two or a month or a year ago. Those are the results of the degree to which I am trusted. How much we trust that divine presence in us, and how much we doubt it, hesitate, second guess it, need to figure it out with our mind and vet it before we literally just trust it. And I know some of the most powerful moments in my life have been where I have just trusted what is flowing through me. A really concrete example of that, which I feel guided to offer right now, is there was a funny story. I was at a local mall close to my home, and I was about to walk home, and a little quiet voice in me, which I now know is my intuition, and I knew that at the time too. That's why I listened to it and I trusted it. Said, maybe it's a good idea if you just step into the storefront because I think it's about to rain. Now, nothing in my outer environment indicated that it was about to rain. The sun was out. There wasn't a cloud in the sky that I could notice. Maybe there were probably clouds in the sky, but I was so focused on, it was such a beautiful sunny day. So for all intents and purposes, to my logical mind, the suggestion from my intuition that I might want to step into the store because it was about to pour in a second would have sounded kind of irrational and maybe completely illogical. It was because I was developing an intimate trust with that sixth sense in me. And I was learning to recognize how it spoke to me, that I didn't second guess it. And the universe was offering me an opportunity in that moment to really trust myself even more. And the most miraculous thing happened. I kid you not. This is this is why I completely remember this moment to this day. I literally walked into the storefront that I was guided to walk into, and a second later, it poured rain. It just came down full force. It was comical. It was like, oh my goodness, this made me chuckle and smile. And so we are given so many opportunities to trust ourselves, and as many opportunities as we need until we do. This is why it's so important that when we look at what is out picturing in our lives, it's feedback about where we were before. It's not an indication of necessarily where we are going, unless we see it as, if we continue the same patterns, the same beliefs, the same intentions, the same sleepiness around certain things, then probably it is an indication of what will come forward. But if we're looking at something in our life and there's certain thoughts and emotions coming up about it that are not bringing us joy, not expanding us, but maybe contracting our energy, or siphoning our energy, or draining our energy, or making us feel put upon or heavy, then sacred self-care and this vow is all about honoring the signs, honoring the, what is coming up to our, to be noticed by us, so that we can choose something different, something that feels more expansive, something that feels better, and trust that even if there's nothing in front of us in this moment that would validate it. This is where the faith comes in. This is where we create space for grace to flow into our lives, because we get out of our own way. We stop trying to figure things out and understand everything, and we allow spaciousness for something beyond the limitations of the mind to begin to flow into our life. If we've got a clogged drain, there's no water flowing. But if we, allow there to be an open, tube, or pipe, then the water can flow through. It's no different with creation, right? And it's just, being open to a new possibility without needing to figure out the how, just knowing that we are wanting to readjust our sails, right? I'm mixing my metaphors, but I think I think you see where I'm going with that. Okay, so I'm going to invite you to place your hands on your heart again, and breathing in Ave. Sa. I am trusted. Yeah, I am trusted. I am trusting that capacity in me that's noticing what I'm noticing, and I'm honoring it. And then bringing your awareness up to the crown of your head, to the seventh energy center, in-body energy center. I am at one with an infinite source of creative power. I remind myself that I am so much more than my thoughts and emotions. As I accept them with wonder and curiosity, I surrender to divine guidance and inspiration. So this sacred self-care vow has been really important in my own journey, as I'm sure it is for a lot of you. And it's just a beautiful reminder when I say it to myself, that anything that is keeping me in conflict with or resistance to that which is showing up in my field of awareness is splitting and diffusing and disempowering me from that source of power, which is that unified field of creation, that sense that there's a wonderful saying, and I believe it's from T.S. Eliot, about you cannot separate the dancer from the dance. And I'm just sort of paraphrasing loosely here. I quoted it in my book, In Rhythm with Your Soul. And it's just sort of floating in my mind right now as I'm sharing this with you. Because, and there's also this idea of the still point in the dancer, where if we get down to the core essence of, being open to what wants to express through us, what wants to move through us, and be birthed through us, and be created, co-created with and through us, as us. It's interesting because, in my own journey, one of the things that, was a discernment was, in life, when things were told myself that things were happening to me, that was a big gulf, right? And it put me in that victim position. As I awakened more and I shifted my awareness into, this is happening for me, that was a huge epiphany. It was like, okay, so this is happening for me to help me to grow. It's fertilizer for the soul. And then even from there, I started to shift into, it's happening as me, that this idea that there's a seamlessness, that this isn't, I am not separate from the source of creation itself, nor is anyone else. When we go back to source itself, there is no separation. The fact that I have a physical body and a personality and different expressions and different experiences, it's all that light being refracted into this, kind of kaleidoscope on earth here of all these different multifaceted expressions of source itself. And so if I really want to restore the sacred to my self-care, it's really and truly about remembering that if my intention is to keep my eyes on the divine at all times, to really feel that unified consciousness, that sense of at homeness with my divine presence in human form, then it's really an invitation to affirm and make a sacred vow to myself that I am at one with an infinite source of creative power, that it's not something I have to get. It's not something outside of me. It's not something that, and this also helps me to remember that if there's a message coming at me from my environment that's wanting to lead me to believe otherwise, that I have to do something first to get something, or I only qualify if I do A, B, and C, or X, Y, and Z, then that's the distraction, right? Whereas if I just come back into the present moment and recognize that all the divine guidance and inspiration is right here, right now. It's just whether I'm claiming it. It's whether I'm also commanding the light of my awareness to choose that, whether I'm open to it, or whether I'm distracted by all the noise out there and getting confused by, which then kind of has a ripple effect down through the other energy centers, which leads into the hesitation, which leads into not really listening to that presence in ourselves, to feeling unworthy of being loved or being enough, feeling our needs are not getting met, and feeling maybe unsupported. So the power of these divine declarations is that they really do restore the sacred to our self-care. They really do offer us that gift of restoring that divine connection, that divine presence, that divine awareness in every moment that we choose to affirm them. And as we choose to affirm them from that I am presence, we are honoring the divine in our now experience. And there's a power in that that is beyond the mind's comprehension. And the more often we practice these vows, the more often we say them to ourselves quietly as we move throughout the day, the more we nourish ourselves on a very profound level. And we keep these promises to ourselves by staying consistent with declaring them. So I'm going to invite you to place your hands on your heart for that seventh one, breathing in Ave. I am at one with an infinite source of creative power. And so I'm going to release the screen share right now and come back into the studio here. And I hope you found those helpful. I hope they offered you something to really ground your, practice of sacred self-care into your daily, rituals and daily self-care activities. And it's an honor and a blessing to share these with you. And if you would like to get a copy of the PDF, I invite you to join my newsletter. And the link is below this video share. And I'd be more than happy to send you a copy of them so that you can use them every day in your own sacred self-care rituals and practices. And I want to wish you, moving forward, all the creative abundance, all the joy, the peace, the love that is available for you right now. And if there's anything that I can do to continue to support you on your journey of inner emergence as you're birthing your vision and mission into the world, it would be an honor and a blessing to walk beside you. If that's something you're interested in learning more about, feel free to reach out to me at info@pollyannablanco.com. And there we can set up a coffee chat or a little warm bevy and herbal tea, whatever calls to you, and we can sit down and have a free 20-minute chat. And I also have a lot of other free resources. If you go to handle Pollyanna Blanco on Instagram, I have a great resources page, as well as at pollyanablanco.com. I have a free audio. It's called It's Safe to Be Root Chakra. It's Safe to Be Creative. It's a 30-minute free infinity healing audio. And it's my gift to you to support you to really begin to anchor into and trust your creativity, and to create the calm so you can trust that creativity. Because when we're calm, we can be creative. And when we're creative, we tap into that creative expression inside of us. In my own journey, that's where I've really felt that most powerful connection to the divine, because essentially we are love through creation energy. We're constantly creating. It's just learning how to tap into and tune into the creative process in a way that expands us, rather than creating stuff that we don't want to see in the world. And when the stuff that we maybe didn't want to experience out pictures, understanding how to move through what is out picturing in a way that is like fertilizer for the soul, so that we can continue to learn, grow, and expand through it, and not be weighed down by it, and not lose and deplete our energy through it. So this is why I call myself a creative midwife. It's not that I birth babies in the literal sense. I'm not a doula, but I am a creative doula in the sense that I know through my own journey how important it is to have all those extra supports in place to care for your energy, care for, the soul lessons that are emerging, and not so that you don't get tripped up and confused by them and end up throwing in the towel too prematurely, because the world really needs you right now. It needs you to listen to your soul, to be guided by your spirit, to trust your intuition, and to know that you chose to be here now for a greater purpose and reason, even if it's not super clear to you right now. it's a process. Creation is a process. And sometimes it has many, well, it often does have many twists and turns. And so it's just learning how to navigate those and care for yourself as you move through them so that you can really be here and remember why you chose to be here at this time, because that's where the deep sense of fulfillment, the true divine joy anchors in. And it's beyond figuring it out with our heads. It's an energetic, co-creative, divine, experiential, wisdom, growing and cultivating experience. And it's well worth the journey. And so I really hope you'll continue to say yes to you and care as much for yourself as you care for the world. Thank you so much for joining me today. And thank you so much for, if you've enjoyed this show, please, I remind you to share it, to like it, and to share it, and to subscribe. And I look forward to being back here with you again for another show where I'll dive a little more deeply into each of these divine declarations. And I've got more to share too coming up, because more downloaded through me too, around the Lionsgate last summer. And I just feel like now is the perfect time to share. So stay tuned for that. And let's connect, beautiful creative soul. Until we meet again, lots of love and light. And Lakech Alakeen, I am another you, and you are another me. Be well. Much love and light.